And now I have my keyboards, my right hand and my left hand, and I might want to change those instruments, so you should feel free to do that if you want to make them piano or any other kind of keyboard instrument. I also have my synthesizer, and I created a bass line. Let's hear all of this against my drums. So this is my bass drum, and please make sure you're marking your parts, and this one is my snare, and these are my hats, so I'm double clicking, and so make sure that you go through this and you label all your tracks, okay? Epic cloud formation would really be what? Synth, maybe synth 1, okay? So this already has a bass. Let's take a listen to what it all sounds like. All right, not too bad. Now I want to add a little bit of flavor to my bass line, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to imitate the rhythmic pattern of my bass drum with the notes of my bass line. So I'm going to duplicate this track, the Liverpool bass, by going to the track pull down menu and saying new track with duplicate settings. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of this. So I'm going to highlight my bass, and I'm going to click and hold on the Alt option and click with the mouse, pull down and let go of the mouse first, and I have that there. Let's take a look. Well, it's the same thing. You could do a bunch of stuff here. What you could do, you could try to imitate the rhythmic pattern here, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the track itself in the edit window of the bass drum, and I'm going to copy these out. Just Command Q, and now I'm going to go back to my bass line here, and get out of the edit window. Actually, I'll double click on the edit window. Here we are. And I'll go back to this bass line. I'm going to put my cursor right there inside the region, and I'm going to hit paste. And what do I get? I get the bass line notes. Look, I get the bass drum rhythmic pattern right in the part. Well, I don't want to just leave this, otherwise it's going to be playing those low notes. So watch, I'm going to delete my first C here. Look at this. And there I have my bass. You may have had your bass drum not on a C1, but maybe on the B for the 808. So you want to be careful that you're keeping the pitches of your bass guitar. So I want this rhythmic pattern. So what could I do? Just click and hold and pull these up and then get rid of that long sustained note. And I'm going to do the same thing for all of these. So I'm going to click and hold, pull that up. Oh, I left those two there. Maybe I'll leave them alone. And here we are. And then I'm going to get rid of the long sustained parts. So let's take a listen. I'm going to mute this long sustained bass line, and let's take a listen to what it sounds like. But I'm going to just solo my drums and my bass line so you can hear my bass line with flavor along with my drums. Okay, now I'm finding this particular bass instrument, maybe that's a little low, but the other thing is I think I want to have them a little longer. So I'm going to select them all. What do? Click and hold on the outside, on the right side of the one note. I'm going to hold down Alt Option Shift and pull them out a little longer. And I'm going to leave a little space between them because repeated notes don't really want to have them repeated without any space. I'm going to leave some space between repeated notes. So here's my repeated notes with a little space. And I'm going to let go of the mouse first. And now let's take a listen to this and see what it sounds like. Now this particular instrument I think is not sounding great so low. So I'm going to select in here, select them all. And I'm going to hold down Alt Option Shift and arrow up to get them up an octave. And the other thing is 127 does not sound good on the velocity. So while they're selected, I'm going to lower them all a little bit. So here it is. I think that sounds a lot nicer. Now it might be that I want these lower, but I want to keep this one here. You could do a lot of stuff. So I'm going to select these, and I'm going to hold down Alt Option Shift and arrow down. I'm just showing you a whole bunch of things that you can do, and you can decide to do what you think sounds good. So here it is with the drums. That's kind of nice. Why don't we listen to everything all together? That's what I've got going so far. Sounds pretty good.